and there's a pawn here. So when white goes here, now you have to ask yourself this question. If white could play two straight moves, suppose they changed the rules at chess and said you can make two straight moves as white, for sure he would do this, right? And have the two center pawns. And there's three ways to stop that. In the old days, and they still do it today as well, but this was the classical way. You push your pawn here, and now if he pushes that pawn, you capture. Then, about 100 years ago, they started doing this, which leads to the King's Indian, if you remember, because now if he pushes the pawn, your knight takes. But sometimes I play the Dutch defense, and this is another way of guarding that square. But you can see that this is the key square in the position, and as early as move one. As early as move one, you can identify in the Dutch defense that that's the key square. And so what will happen very often is this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then I give up. Why do I give up the bishop for the knight? The key square is a white square, and he's on the green squares. I don't need him. So the whole thing is, you have to be able, in order to come up with a strategy or a plan, you have to know what the important square on the board is. And then right away say, oh, then I don't need this bishop. This is it's more important that I keep my knight instead of my bishop. Everything makes sense once you know what you're. Just like in a real war, you have to know what you're fighting for. Just imagine it was a war and the soldiers were fighting and they didn't even know what they were trying to capture. Let's say they were fighting to capture the hill and they didn't even know it. It's crazy. You would never have a war like that. Of course, the soldiers know that we're trying to capture the hill, and it's very important to know what you're fighting for, and then you know which pieces to get rid of, which pieces to keep, and so that's what we did in that game. In that game, we won the battle in that game it was this square that was the key square. We won that battle, and pretty soon we won the game.
So is it usually the center square which is like the key square, or not necessarily?
Right, and every opening is different. In other words, it's almost like you have to ask yourself, you have to get inside the head of your opponent and say, every time your opponent makes a move, you have to say to yourself, why did he or she make that move? And once you figure it out, then you know what the right plan is, what the right strategy is. All right? And
so it's really preventing the other person's plan.
Right, because remember, you can score 100 on your math exam and 100 on your, what was the other exam that you scored, 100 on a computer exam? Yeah. But in chess, your opponent is going to try to stop you from scoring 100 on the exam. He's going to say, oh, he wants to play that move, well, I'm going to stop him from doing it. And then you say, oh yeah, I'm going to use tactics and I'm going to still carry out the plan. Oh no, you won't, because I'll use tactics and stop you from carrying. And that's what you're fighting for. That's what every chess game is. It's an argument, it's a battle, and you use your tactics to try to carry out the plan. You don't just go crazy. I have some grown-up students I'm teaching. I was just teaching a guy yesterday. He's in his late 40s, early 50s, and he's just totally tactics. This is what he actually played in a game. I couldn't believe it that he did this. I says, what are you doing? I says, don't you realize that your opponent's going to start chasing your queen around the board? And he says, yeah, but I want them to chase my queen around the board. I says, why would you want that? He goes, well, that's because then, while they're chasing my queen around the board, blah, blah, it made no sense. But this is really, he has no idea about strategy. This is a horrible, horrible move. Although, in a very similar position, a Grandmaster Nakamura actually did play that move. And he lost, but he played.